The following is an excerpt from the Texas Parks and Wildlife television series.
Whole families push carts weighed down with precious belongings. Young children, the old, many are barefoot, struggling along under heavy bundles.
It was mid-morning when the word came. A full-scale emergency evacuation had been ordered. Although it seemed much longer, it took only 2 or 3 minutes to load the helicopters, and then it was farewell to Vietnam.
On April 30th, 1975, as Saigon fell to the communists, thousands of people began to flee Vietnam. Many sought refuge in the United States. Here they had to start from scratch, not knowing the language, with little money and few job possibilities. Since 1975, approximately 70,000 Southeast Asian immigrants have arrived in Texas. Many resettled along the Texas coast, drawn by a prosperous fishing industry and the warm climate.
Go! Huddle up! Go!
Palacios, a small Gulf Coast fishing village, was one of the towns where the Vietnamese settled. Over the past 15 years, the refugees have slowly become accepted as citizens of this community.
Vietnam and United States so different. I like it over here anyway, but I still meet my family over there. my whole family is still in Vietnam.
I always want to fit in, and here I am worried about the language and also fitting in at the culture. They say I'm afraid to even move because I don't know if I'm doing something right, and of course. I'm the only Vietnamese girl in that school, and I feel like everybody's watching me, because I'm different.
I started dishwasher and worked my way up, and then I, getting better job, and I just worked on my way up, and went back to college and get my college degree.
That was always kind of interesting to me that they wanted to work so hard. Same thing with shrimping, even today. If they were allowed to, they'd work 24 hours a day, out in the bay, night and day.
For the Vietnamese just arriving in Palacios, work was found in the fish houses, chemical plants, and the nearby South Texas nuclear plant. Today, this local net factory employs Vietnamese almost exclusively on the production line. As the years passed, the women remained in these less skilled, lower-paying jobs, while the men moved on to higher-paying occupations, primarily shrimping.
At first, I go work in a company, for labor work or something like that. And I see I can make good money, and for working, I start going fisherman. I go grabber. About 2 years. Then I train another work like a swimmer. Make money better.
As the Vietnamese shrimping fleet grew, some Texas shrimpers were angered by what they perceived as a foreign invasion. Tension between the two groups escalated and turned violent in 1980. In Seabrook, local shrimpers burned several Vietnamese fishing boats. Over time, tensions began to ease as the Vietnamese became more acquainted with fishing regulations and local customs. For some Vietnamese, shrimping has been profitable enough for them to buy houses, cars, and businesses, On the other hand, rapid expansion of the Vietnamese fleet has put additional pressure on the shrimp populations. This, combined with increased federal and state regulations, has made it very difficult for many immigrants to compete. Those not able to make enough money to buy or rent a house must live on their boats.
Ở trên đó phía trên đó còn gói thuốc 3 số 5 trên đây mà. Của tôi á, mà coi không thôi tôi ngủ là bỏ rồi đó đó. Ta thấy con của thằng Út Xanh nó thích để đó rồi. Rồi nó lấy xuống.
Mal Van Lee was a student when he left Vietnam. Now he's a bay shrimper, and like all Texas shrimpers, has felt the pinch of the last few years.
Hồi mới qua thì làm thì cũng có đồng vô đồng ra, bây giờ cũng như là luật lệ quá rồi, bây giờ tôi làm tới giờ. Hồi trước á, hồi mới qua thì có cho lơ đồ ở, mà có xe rồi đi, bây giờ không có xe, không có gì, không có xe, rồi không có cho lơ ở, cho nên bây giờ xuống ở dưới tàu, mà tàu là tôi lãnh của người ta chứ không phải là tàu của tôi.
A growing number of immigrants are beginning to find work away from the factories and the shrimp boats. When Saigon fell, Lin Van Chau was in the United States attending a military training school in Kentucky. He never returned to Vietnam. Instead, he remained here and earned a college degree. Now he works as a fisheries technician for the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department.
Wow. The first generation, when the fishermen came here, they work real hard. They work from 5 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night. And all the effort to do was to build a future for their children. And the second generation right now, they are getting away from shrimping industry. They are pursuing their degree in the college, and they work they assimilate to the society, to mainstream of American society, whereas they can work as an engineer and so on, and teacher, instead of going out shrimping.
2 big heads here, right? Yeah. That's a good show. That's a good catch.
The goal of everybody is try to survive and live happy and be free.
This answer, you will double it, right? You add this amount, and with $10 tax, would it come out $258?
Ian Tran arrived in the United States as a 7th grader. Like Lin Van Chau, she pursued her education and received a college degree. She now teaches 7th grade math at Palacios Junior High School. She has adapted to many American customs, but still wants her children to know the culture of her parents.
My dream was to master the language. And when I have my children, I say, I want my children to master the English, so that she have all the chance that she can get out there. Now, my daughter is 10 years old, and I feel like she already mastered the English. She's doing real well, quite well as a 5th grader. But she's not very, very good in Vietnamese. She could understand, but she could not converse. That one thing I'm trying to do what is right, but right now I'm kind of, question myself if I'm doing it right. Divide by 2, take 230 divide by 2. So I guess that part of growing up or part of life, we had to go through, see if we're doing it right.
Okay, I noticed that a lot of y'all got that answer. How many people got that answer? Okay, good, because this is the first time you get to see the part.
Palacios was once merely a safe harbor for a group of foreign refugees. Today, it is much more than that.
I call Palacios my hometown now. I would love to go back to Vietnam for a visit, and I would love to bring my children back there to see where I came from. But I am an American. but a Vietnamese and American. So this is my home, my hometown.